Hello YouTube and welcome back to another video. Yeah, I know it's been a minute since my last video, but life, my mind's just not in it, blah 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 blah, you get it, messed up year, so forth and so forth. But anyway, I thought I would make this video. I was sort of inspired to make this video by a couple of YouTubers. Mr. Retro Bear, I was watching his video the other day, the one where he was showing some select titles from his Wii library, because he's got so many games. It was funny that he had to, it was actually, I thought, it was a half an hour video, I think it was, and he showed a lot of great games, and yet right behind him he still had like a wall of games that looked untouched, like Wii games that looked completely untouched. So it's crazy to think that he showed quite a lot of games and yet it barely made a dent in his collection. But anyway, yeah, so he basically was showcasing select titles from his Wii collection, and then after that I watched Eddie RollerXCore. He did a Wii video, a Wii collection video as well. I guess he was also inspired to make one by Mr. Retro Bear himself. And they both in turn made me want to get off my ass and make a video showcasing my Wii collection. Now, my collection is nowhere near as big as theirs. When I sort of came into the Wii collecting, it was mostly titles I already had in my head, what I wanted. I mean, you guys, if any of you guys been watching me for a certain amount of time, you know what kind of a collector I am. I'm very selective. I don't just go for any title, which is cool for some people, of course. If they just want to pick up, even the really crap games and whatnot. And that's part of the charm. Is also, part of the appeal is also going for like trying to find really naff games and whatnot. But that's not for me. I don't know. I don't have the space for it. And even if I did have the space for it, I just don't have the time for it. So I would rather just focus on getting games that I know are going to appeal to me. So I have a collection here, a moderate collection. It's funny because as I was sort of gathering the games and putting them here to the side for the video, I actually have more than I thought I did. I even came across a title that I didn't even know I had. I completely forgot all about it. So but anyway, so this is going to be my Wii collection, which, by the way guys, if you haven't already, please check out Retro Bear's channel as well as Eddie RollerXCore's channel. I will put links in the description box below, so check out their videos. If you haven't subbed to their channels, guys, please sub to them. They're really good guys, great channels, great personalities, and they've really got a lot of content. Way more than I do. I mean, they're way more consistent than I am. So definitely go down if you haven't already and give them a sub, guys. I'm sure you'll enjoy their content. But yeah, so anyway, let's get started with the very first game. And the game I'm going to start with is actually probably one of my all-time favorites on the Wii, and that is Sin and Punishment. And yeah, I actually bought this game. Sorry about the glare, guys. Yeah, I actually bought this game at CEX for a £5, and I thought that was a bargain. Like, the moment I saw it, I just thought that was an absolute bargain, and yeah, really glad to get it. And it's a fantastic game. In fact, I probably play 3 games like consistently on the Wii, although admittedly I've kind of neglected the Wii as of late. But when I do play it, this is definitely in the top 3 of what I play the most. This is a really fun game. It's basically a sort of on-rails shooter, and it was a sequel to an N64 game that only got a Japanese release, which is unfortunate because it's a really good game. But this one's fantastic as well. It's like an on-rails sort of shooter, but you sort of control a character, so it's like a third-person perspective. You control the character, but you also control like a cursor across the screen as well. And it really is fantastic, guys. And I'm not too sure what it goes for now. Hopefully it's not too expensive, but it's definitely worth a try. How you guys feeling with the lighting? I don't know if it's a bit off key. I don't know. Is that better? I'll just go with that. Okay, so next game I have here is A Boy and His Blob, and this is a really cool game. It's a 2D platform puzzler, and I believe it's a remake of an NES game, and it's fantastic. Like, what drew me to this game primarily was the art style. The 2D graphics just look beautiful, really nice and smooth. Fantastic title. I also think this got a digital release on the Switch as well, and maybe PS4, I'm not too sure. I definitely know I saw it. I think it might have been on the PlayStation Network. I know it's available digitally on modern platforms. I'm pretty sure PS4, not too sure about Switch, but I know it should be on PS4. But it's a really good game, really good puzzle platformer with some amazing 2D visuals. Next one I have here, and I'm ashamed to say I haven't played this yet because it's still sealed, and that is A Shadow's Tale. And this is a game I was lucky to get actually, because I bought this game before it shot up in price. Like, I paid about 20 quid for it, 25 quid sealed. And this game now goes for a lot more than that. I actually came into collecting for the Wii really at the tail end. Like, I think the Wii U was already out by this point when I started picking up for it. But because I didn't have a lot of titles and I already knew what I wanted, like I went for what I would consider the big hitters pretty much straight away. So I was lucky. I managed to avoid paying any silly prices for any of these games. So yeah, very fortunate in that regard. But anyway, yeah, but this is like a platformer title, and it looks amazing. I believe you're a character where you sort of control your shadow as well, and I think you have to sort of go from back and forth. I believe that's what it is. Don't quote me on that because I haven't checked out gameplay of this for a long time. But it's definitely one I'm planning to play at some point because it does look really interesting. Okay, so these next two games are going to be games that most of you are going to be very familiar with. And essentially these games, I actually got them in a trade with another YouTuber. And you know, because at the time these games were like really hyped up. They're not the special editions. These are just the standard editions, which is perfectly fine with me because I'm not a big RPG fan as such. So getting the special editions doesn't really matter to me. But in any case, I have here a sealed copy of Pandora's Tower, and yeah, this game looks really good. I don't know why I haven't got around to it yet, but that's also because like I say, I've sort of neglected my Wii for a bit. I haven't been playing it that much, but this one definitely intrigues me, and yeah, it looks really cool. And the next one, this is actually the one that I forgot I had. I actually didn't realise I had this game until I was putting all these games together, and that is The Last Story. I was actually watching Eddie Rollercore's video, and when he was talking about this game, I was just sort of saying to myself, like, wow, I don't have this game, I should have got it, and sure enough, I did have it. I just completely forgot that I did have it, so that's actually good to know, because I was sort of considering whether I trying to get it, but yeah, glad to know I've got it. It's unsealed, but it's in really nice condition, and yeah, this one looks really cool, so looking forward to this one. Next game I have here is, and this is one that's that both Mr. Retro Bear and RollerXCore brought up, and that's Ivy the Kiwi. And I did buy this game for $2.99. Bought it in my local game shop, and I've yet to play this as well, unfortunately. But I know what it's about. It's basically sort of like a not puzzler, but like it's where you sort of have to draw on the screen and your character sort of walks along the lines. It's very much like that Kirby game that came out on the Wii U, and there's also one on the DS. I think it was called Paintbrush, something like that. But it's really cool, and yeah, it was actually made by the people that created Sonic, so that was probably the appeal to me for picking this up. So yeah, it looked cool. Okay, next game I have here is Sonic Colors. Now I'm actually just have a quick cup of coffee here. Oh, that's better. Yeah, so I actually bought this game because I heard good things about it. I heard it was sort of like a return to form for Sonic, and I personally didn't really click with it. I think there are other Sonic. Like I actually liked Sonic Generations better, and of course Sonic Mania is fantastic. But this game just didn't really click with me for some reason. It seems good. I mean, there's nothing that really put me off about the game, but I just don't know. It just didn't really do it for me. But I don't know. I'll go back to it and give it another try. Next one I have here, and this is actually a game that I was refusing to buy for a long time. I think this might have been the last game I added to my collection, and that was only because it just kept showing up in all the shops I was in. It just kept screaming at me because it was so cheap, and I've heard nothing but good things about it. But initially I wanted to avoid it because for the most part, I mean, you know me guys, I'm mostly sort of a 2D fan. I seldom go for a lot of 3D games unless they're like on, you know, my main system, i.e. the PlayStation 4 or the PS3 it would have been at this time. But I don't know, I sort of gave in at the end and decided to pick it up because it was so cheap. I think I paid about £1 for it or something. But anyway, that game is Mad World. Still haven't played it yet, but it does look good. And it's sort of like a 3D based arena combat game. Very cool, sort of unique look to it as well. It's all sort of black and white, and then when you sort of take out enemies and you kill people, like the blood comes out in perfect red, so it really stands out. And yeah, I mean, I've heard a lot of good things from this game, so you know, I look forward to giving it a try. Okay, next game I have here, and that is Castlevania Judgment. Now I have to say that I'm a huge Castlevania fan. Like, I love all the action platformers. This is not that. This is a 3D fighting game slash arena fighter. It's not quite a 3D fighter in like your Virtua Fighters or your Tekken, but it's not really an arena fighter, you know, like your Power Stones. It's kind of a mix of both, and it doesn't really do either successfully. It does have an interesting way of sort of, there is a storyline in the game that sort of explains why you've got, you know, different Belmonts and different characters from the various timelines all packed into one place. But ultimately I found this game to be pretty shitty. I just didn't really like the controls. I just didn't get on with it at all, really. And I'm not a fan of the character designs. Some of them look cool, but like the character in front here is supposed to be Simon Belmont, and yeah, I'm just not feeling it. I just wasn't feeling this. But I wanted it in the collection anyway because it's really the only physical Castlevania game on the Wii, and it is a unique game. It's not been ported to anything else, so you know, I thought at the very least that was worth adding into the collection. But I will say, prior to buying it, I'd never played it before, so it was a blind buy and it just didn't click with me. Anyway, next couple of games here. I've got a sealed copy of Metroid Other M. Now I know this game has gotten a lot of sort of mixed reviews, mixed to negative reviews, but I have to say I've actually played a little bit of this game before, and I think it's okay. It doesn't, you know, I think the issue people had with this game was primarily with the story and how they sort of portrayed Samus. I think that was really what people took issue with, but you know, I'll look forward to playing this at some point. This game was very cheap. I think I paid like £5 for it, but it's still sealed. I'll get around to it at some point. And then of course I have here Metroid Prime Trilogy. So these are the 3 games. I believe the first 2 came out on the GameCube, and later Prime 3 was a Wii game. So these are all 3 collected, and I think the first 2 are remastered. I'm not too sure. They've definitely been adapted to sort of fit the Wii motion controls. It's fun. I've played the first one, the first game in the series, and it's cool. I mean, the Wii motion controls are definitely, you know, they're a unique function to the game, and I did think it was fun. But I've got to be honest, like the Prime games aren't really my cup of tea. I'm more of a 2D Metroid fan. No surprise there. But yeah, like I like, for me, Super Metroid, you know, Metroid Fusion, etc. Like those games for me are what Metroid is really about. But these games are cool though. It's just I'm not really a fan of the first-person shooter. But I'm glad that I have the 3 games together in this collection. Okay, next couple of games here. I've got a sealed copy of Kirby's Epic Yarn. Not much to say really. I was holding off from buying this game just because I know it's not a traditional Kirby game. I'm more of a fan of the traditional Kirby platformers, but you know, it was cheap and it looked like something interesting. I thought, you know, there's no harm in picking it up. And of course I had to get Kirby's Adventure Wii, and this game is fantastic. Absolutely love it. This was the start of that sort of trilogy of excellent Kirby games that continued on the 3DS, and this is fantastic. Definitely worth playing. I definitely think this is one of the best Kirby games in the series, period. So yeah, definitely check this one out. Okay, next games I have here is I've got Super Paper Mario, and I have to say I really enjoyed this game. I've played quite a bit of it, and I know this game got quite a sort of negative response, but I'll be honest with you, I'd never played a Paper Mario game prior to this one, and I really enjoyed it. So, you know, I came in with no preconceptions really, and I just enjoyed it for what it was, and I think it's perfectly fine. It's got a very unique art style to it, so yeah, I enjoyed it. And of course, I've got the Mario Galaxy games, so Mario 1 and Galaxy 2, and these are really cool platformers. And I know they're very well regarded by people, but I have to admit I don't like them as much as some of the other ones. I don't know, I just find the levels to be quite disorientating for me. I don't know, maybe I'm just getting old, but I kind of get a little bit queasy when I'm sort of running around those small planets, and it just kind of just throws me off a little bit. So I don't enjoy them as much as other people, but I do recognise that they're great games. But I much more prefer Mario Odyssey and the 3D land and world sort of games as opposed to these ones. But you know, they are definitely very, very good games. Controversial, but you know, like I say, it's just the level designs and how they sort of play out. Anyway, moving on, I have here The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, and I've also got Skyward Sword. I don't have the special editions to these. This is just because, like, again, you know, I just wanted to give them a try. Skyward Sword is still sealed, and Twilight Princess, I was going to play this one, but decided to get the GameCube one because I heard that was just a better version. So I don't know when I'll get around to these, but just glad to have them anyway. And of course, I also have here the Resident Evil game. So I've got the Resident Evil Remake, as well as Resident Evil 0. And I could have sworn I had Resident Evil 4 as well. I couldn't find it for some reason. Maybe it's somewhere, I don't know. But I could have sworn I had that as well. But yeah, very cool, good games. I mean, I've played the original Resident Evil Remake. I actually have it on various systems. But I have not actually played it on the Wii. I've played it on other systems. But yeah, great remake. Resident Evil 0, I've played a bit of it. I need to give it another go. Like, I couldn't really get on with the switching back and forth of the characters and stuff. Like, I don't know, there was something about it. I just struggled with it. I can't explain it. I need to give it another shot. I need to give it another go. But carrying on with Resident Evil, I also have here Resident Evil Dark Side Chronicles and Resident Evil, The Umbrella Chronicles, and these are basically light gun shooters on rails, sort of light gun sort of shoot games. And this is probably what the Wii is really good at, sort of light gun games. And yeah, they're very, very cool. So yeah, enjoy those. And carrying on with the light gun games, I have here, what's it? Gunblade NY and LA Machine Guns. And so this is basically 2 arcade games in one. It's cool, nothing really special. They don't really stand out in my opinion, but they are fun to play. And I also have here Ghost Squad, and this is fantastic. This is very much in that vein of Virtua Cop. Really good game from Sega, and it's very cheap. I paid I think £1 for this game, and it's definitely one of the games that I've spent a lot of time playing. Really, really fun. Definitely check out Ghost Squad, guys. You've got nothing to lose. It's very, very cheap, as far as I know. I don't, like I say, I'm a bit out of the loop when it comes to the prices now, but from what I hear, it's still very cheap to get. Then, of course, I've got House of the Dead 2 and 3, fantastic arcade games. What's there to say? Great light gun shooter, or 2 games. And then I've got here House of the Dead Overkill, and this is probably my most played game on the Wii. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what it is about it, but I just really enjoy it. I have the gun attachment, and yeah, I just absolutely love this game. Yeah, I don't know what it is, I just really do, and I've played it a lot. This is probably my most played game on the Wii after Castlevania Rebirth, which I would love to show you in a physical form, but unfortunately that game is one of the WiiWare titles that's digital only. But yeah, I do love this game. It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Then of course I have here Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn, and yeah, I had to get this. I'm a fan of the Fire Emblem series. I have all the Western releases, so I had to get this game. Haven't played it yet, only because this game is a direct sequel to the GameCube game, which I own. But even though I've put a lot of hours into that game, I haven't completed it yet. So I didn't want to start this game just simply because it's a sort of like a direct follow-up. But I'm glad to have it anyway. Really cool tactical RPGs. Then we've got here the first game I picked up, the first game I bought for the Wii, and probably the game that I was most envious of prior to getting the Wii, and that is Tatsunoko versus Capcom. And this is a great fighting game. It's sort of sad that this game only got a Wii release, because I feel that this game probably would have done better on the PlayStation or the Xbox, but in some ways that kind of makes the game more special now, because it's never been ported anywhere aside from the Wii, and it's brilliant. It's essentially, you know, you've got your Capcom characters, and then you've got characters from the Tatsunoko company. And it's funny because I didn't think I would be that aware of the characters from Tatsunoko, but I'm actually quite familiar with a lot of them, surprisingly. A lot of them are from sort of animes that I watched as a little kid. And stuff, so it was crazy to think, oh, I know that guy and I know that guy. So, but this is really, really cool, and I even have the arcade stick. I would show you, but I forgot to take it out. But it's boxed and in pristine condition. I actually bought the arcade stick separately. I bought it from another YouTuber, from my mate Pete on a retro tip. He did me a solid deal on it, so I've got the arcade stick boxed in pristine condition as well. But yeah, this is a fantastic game, guys, and I highly recommend people get it. If you're a 2D fighting fan, you more than likely already have it. If you don't, what are you doing? Get the game. I also recommend people get it for the Wii, even if you're not really that big into 2D fighters, just because it's unique on the platform. You know, it's the only game on across all the systems. So of this, I think Eddie RollerXCore did mention that there was a Tatsunoko game that came out on the Japanese PS1, but obviously we never got it over here, so this is brand new for us, so yeah, really cool to have. Okay, next game I have here, and that is Klonoa. Again, one of the games I had to get for the system. I'm a big fan of the PlayStation 1 title, so the idea of getting a sort of spruced up, you know, HD remaster of it, you know, just really appealed to me, and it's fantastic. It's such a great platform. Whether you get it on the PS1 or the Wii, do yourselves a favor, guys, and definitely check out Klonoa. And I also want to mention that there are two platformer Klonoa games on the GBA as well that are well worth your time, guys. So you can get them on the Game Boy Advance. They're 2D platformers. This is 2.5D. And also there's a sequel on the PlayStation 2 as well, which again is also 2.5D. Definitely worth checking out, guys. Don't ignore the Klonoa series. They really are fantastic platforms. Brilliant games. Okay, the next one I have here, and that is Trauma Center Second Opinion. And I actually bought this game simply because it was very cheap. I think I paid about 50p for it, or something like that. But I actually was familiar with the series. I had one of the games on the DS and actually really enjoyed it. It's essentially like a puzzle game where you sort of have to operate on people. So you have to like do all the surgery, but it's all based on like steady hands and doing quick movements within a time limit and stuff like that. It's actually a lot of fun. I really did quite enjoy the DS game, but of course you're using like the stylus to do the surgery and stuff. Of course with the Wii remote, even though you're sort of pointing at the screen, it's not quite the same. But in any case, it's I think it's an underrated series, and I think more people should give it a look. Sorry if my eyes are moving around so much. I keep trying to look at the lens, but my eyes always divert to the screen. I'm out of practice, guys. I really am. I'm out of practice. But moving on, I have Deadly Creatures, and this was a game that was recommended to me by various people. You know, sort of, it was termed as a bit of a hidden gem. It's basically a platformer. Action platformer 3D sort of title where you play as a spider and you sort of have to go up against other insects and also humans and stuff. It's really quite unique, very cool game actually, and again, it's a very cheap title, and I think it's definitely worth having in your collection just because it's quite unique, and it's really cool. It actually reminds me a little bit of the game, I think it was called Spider on the PlayStation 1, if anyone remembers that game. It was like a 2.5D platformer. Kind of just gave me that kind of vibe, obviously because you're also playing a spider. But yeah, very cool game. Next game I have here, and this is a game that I want to highlight because nobody brings this up, and I don't know why, because I get it, people might not necessarily be fans of the IP itself, but the game is really good, you know, and that is Dragon Ball Revenge of King Piccolo. And this is basically a 2.5 action platformer beat 'em up. I don't know if you guys might be familiar with the Game Boy Advance game, which is a really good game. This basically sort of, it's similar to that, except it's 2.5D, and it really is a lot of fun, guys. I think there are some people that have caught on to this game. I think the price is starting to rise on this game. I was lucky to pick it up before the price sort of started to go up on it, but definitely do not overlook Dragon Ball The Rise of King Piccolo. This really is one of those games you want to keep in your collection just for the gameplay, the graphics. It's fantastic. So you don't necessarily have to be a fan of the IP to enjoy this game. It's a really good game on its own, so check it out, guys. Here's a game that I actually initially knew nothing about. This game was recommended to me by another YouTuber called Scott, known as the Sega Saturn Lad, and he recommended this game to me. And it's funny because it's a racing game. I'd seen this game in the arcades, but you know, I never really sort of paid too much attention to it. But and I got to admit, even from the gameplay that I saw, I still wasn't unsure. But I decided to go with Scott's recommendation. and I picked up a copy, and it's actually a lot of fun. I mean, it's an arcade racer, so you can't really go wrong with them in either case, and that is GTI Club Super Mini Festa, and this is a Konami game, and it is really good. So you basically race in Mini Coopers, and it's a lot of fun. It really is. It's a really fun racing game. So this was not one game I was expecting to pick up, but it wound up being a good purchase. So yeah, cheers for that, Scott. This is a quality game. Next game I have here, and this is a fantastic one, and that is Batman Brave and the Bold. And this game was developed by WayForward. I'm a huge WayForward fan. Love a lot of their games, and this is definitely up there. Fantastic. It does use motion controls. It does kind of have a unique way of playing. It takes some getting used to, but it's colourful. It's a lot of fun. It's well designed. It's a fantastic game. Definitely worth adding. Next game I have here is Knight's Journey into Dreams. I bought this simply because it was Knight's. I think it's a sequel to the game that came out on the Saturn, and it's a fun game. It's a fun 3D action title, and yeah, I mean, I know not a lot of people bring it up. I kind of got the impression that the game wasn't well received, but you know, I think it's a good game. It's definitely, I found it very much fun to play. Sipping that coffee. Okay, so we've got 3 more titles to go, guys, not long. The next game I have here is Muramasa the Demon Blade. I've got to be honest with you, I have yet to play this game. I bought it simply on the hype of it. A lot of people was hyping up this game, so I managed to get one before the price sort of crept up on it. And yeah, it looks cool. It's like a sort of 2D hack and slash sort of title. Actually, was Retro Bear was saying that he found the game kind of boring. So I think he said it was very repetitive and there was not much to it. So I guess we'll find out at some point. You know, but this game does have a cult following. I know it came out afterwards on the Vita, and yeah, so I'll give it a try, give it a shot, see what it's saying. And the next game I have here is Super Punch Out. Yeah, this is quality. I very much enjoy the original, not the original because it wasn't the first in the series, but I really liked Super Punch Out on the Super Nintendo. I really enjoyed that game, and this game is just as good. It's fantastic. Really cool action arcadey sort of boxing game. A lot of fun to play. Definitely check it out. And finally we have Wario Land: The Shake Dimension. This is a game that, again, I think it might have been Scott Sega Saturn told me about this game. I'd completely forgotten about this game when I sort of started picking up for the system, and he pointed me in this direction, and I went and snapped up a copy straight away. Once I saw the footage, the gameplay, the 2D graphics, like, it was like, yeah, because I love the Wario games on the handheld systems. So yeah, got this game right away, and it did not let me down. It's fantastic, really good 2D platformer, really nice 2D graphical art style. Fantastic, really did enjoy this one. So again, cheers for that, Scott. And that is it, guys. That is my Wii collection, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I want to give again shout outs to Retro Bear and Eddie RollerXCore for basically inspiring me to go and make this video. So cheers, guys, for watching, and yeah, I guess I will see you guys again another time. So until then,